I'm Gavin Reddick from Santiam. This is Andrew Fuhriman, and you're watching our beer tasting show.
Thank you for tuning in. Today what we're going to be tasting are some West Coast IPAs. So this is something that is directly from just the craft beer revolution, is these West Coast IPAs that are known to be super hoppy, super tropical, a lot of really good flavors, just a nice drinkable IPA. A little bit just from where IPAs came from are, because I always wondered where did they get up with that India Pale Ale name. And part of the story is that the beer would spoil by the time that the English would ship it down to India. So they actually found out that hops are a natural preservative, so they would load up the barrels of beer with even more hops than they would typically brew with. And then when it got to India, it'd still be fresh, it'd still taste good, but it was super hoppy.
Funny for me because I, for so long, believed this story. I just learned that recently because forever I believed that they watered it down once it got there, so they ship it at a higher ABV, and then somebody tried it and thought it was awesome. But yeah, that's a myth. And Spencer, if you're watching this, you started that myth for me. I know you're gonna see this. Yeah, I still believe that probably until basically today. So.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like those Englishmen, or the English, when they got back to their country, they wanted IPAs. They wanted this super hoppy beer, and so the breweries there actually started brewing it for returning soldiers, for people returning from India, and the IPA was born. Here in the U.S., we've kind of taken it to new lengths, just with what we're able to do with hops, with the climate, with the soil. Everything that's kind of unique, especially here in the Northwest. They started planting these hop varietals, and versus getting these nice herbal, like kind of old world hop aromas and flavors, they started getting stuff like mango, pine, peach, like all these like nice berry flavors, tropical fruit flavors, papaya, pineapple, all these really resiny flavors, just from the climate here. And so the American IPA, and especially, in my opinion, the West Coast IPA was born. So that's what we're going to be tasting today, is trying to stick to a kind of one style within IPA, and trying to stick to 3 IPAs that are similar in ABV, similar in style, just to kind of keep things consistent here. So we're going to have Deschutes Inversion IPA, Breakside Stay West IPA, and Rogue's Straight Out of Line IPA.
I need one of those. That is just too cool.
Conversation started very quickly.
Yeah, no kidding.
So this one pours out like a nice golden color. Let's see.
It's kind of bronzy.
Yeah, kind of a bronze, kind of in between like gold and amber. And this one is a 6.8% IPA. I'm definitely getting like a nice fruit aroma, like a tropical fruit, mango, kind of like a soft papaya note there.
Yeah.
I get kind of in tasting it, definitely get like a grapefruit bitterness. Like if you've ever bitten into a grapefruit.
Peel.
Yeah, it's kind of like this grapefruity pithiness to it. But it's good. It's not overpowering. The beer itself, I think I call it pretty dry. So it kind of, that bitterness actually kind of cleanses your palate. It's a dry beer, leaves you wanting to take another sip.
It's like different all across your mouth too. Bitter in the back, for sure.
Yeah, I get that. Kind of back of the mouth. Yeah, I'd say like a citrus peel bitterness. Definitely a tropical fruit, citrus aroma. And I think that aroma kind of carries over into the flavor as well. Very good. Man, that was tasty.
Yeah, that is good.
It's a little bit darker, and that kind of bronzy,
Yeah, I was gonna say once the
almost amber color. It's kind of creeping up almost into that Northwest IPA style, but it's still not overly sweet. Not overly malty. It's definitely a hop forward beer. Definitely a hop forward IPA. Want to move on to the Breakside?
Yeah.
I don't get to use this cool contraption one more time at least. He's even got a magnet.
Yeah, it's so awesome. Yeah, again, packaging is so cool on these.
Breakside is known to put out some really solid IPAs. This is, as I understand it, kind of one of their flagship, their West Coast IPA.
One of the few that they do in 6-packs, 'cause they do a lot of 22s, I know, but yeah, and I love that one.
The only 2 6-packs I've found of theirs are the Stay West IPA and their Golden Ale.
Oh yeah, that's right, with the bear or whatever riding the motorcycle.
Yeah. But all their 22s, they do a lot of bombers. Those are all good. So this one, like just the aroma starting with it, it's like tropical fruit ramped up.
Yeah.
Like definitely like some nice mango.
I was gonna say, definitely more mango. It's like more fruit, less pine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely more on like the tropical fruit spectrum of the aroma.
A little creamy. I think it comes down to that carbonation or the head on it too, though.
Yeah. Nice carbonation. Both these had really good carbonation to them.
Yeah, sort of frothy.
A little bit heavier on the mango. I get a little bit of, if you've ever had passion fruit, it's got a nice passion fruit aroma and the flavor carries through. It's probably one of my all-time favorite flavors is passion fruit. So that's actually really good.
That's in the Pogs, right? I love those.
Pogs.
Yeah,
it's a passion orange guava.
I love them. They're so good. Yeah.
So a lot of the Northwest grown hops have the tropical fruit aromas and flavors to them. So as Gavin brought up, if you've ever seen Pog or Pog's juice, passion orange guava, you kind of end up with that in your IPAs if you use Northwest hops because they have that passion fruit, orange, guava. Those are 3 very common flavors, and in an IPA, it's really good.
I was watching something earlier, and they were talking about some like sort of purist brewing, where you get those flavors without even using the fruits, and that is a cool concept to get those flavors out of your hops instead of by actually adding the juice or fruit or however they do that.
Yeah, it's when I started drinking beer, I couldn't believe that they didn't add the fruit that I was tasting to the beer.
Yeah.
That was kind of a hard concept to realize. Like it's this little green cone that grows on a vine and can taste anywhere from kind of like a minty,
like spicy,
like
minty,
grassy, all the way through the spectrum of pretty much every tropical fruit, stone fruit, and in my understanding, in large part depends on where it's grown, the sun it's getting, the soil it has to grow in. So right now, for a while, like Northwest grown hops were kind of the hot commodity, and now it's kind of shifting to the southern hemisphere, and you're seeing a lot of southern hemisphere hops.
Right. When you bring that up, it's funny to watch the trends of hops and stuff. When I am buying, I look at the hops. It'll be like the same thing for like 1 year for a style, and then the next year that same style have totally different stuff. Like last year was all Simcoe. I remember seeing Simcoe everywhere.
Citra.
Yeah, Citra. Yep. The Santiam hop I even saw quite a bit, and that's one we used in our New Limits IPA. And I was surprised that was even on my radar. And then when they brought that up at conversion, I was so excited to be putting that in there.
If you're interested in home brewing, or if you just want to get a better feel for what you're going to like, go to some of the websites, take a look at their what they tell you they're using for their hops in these beers, and they'll tell you the malts, the hops that they use, and then you can start to know. Gavin brought up Simcoe, and you might start to notice, man, I like these 3 IPAs, and all 3 have Simcoe in them. Maybe I like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got started on IPAs, one of my favorite ones was the Starburst from Eclipse in Portland.
Yeah.
And so after that, I started buying anything that said it had Galaxy hops. And
Yeah.
I was like, I love that.
Yeah.
And it was right. Every time I got one, I liked it. So
Yeah.
knowing those hops was awesome. Speaking of that kind of stuff, I love what Rogue has done with that Star. I just think it's so cool to get a little look at, an idea of how it's going to taste.
And then the other thing, because you brought this up in the other video, what does it pair with? I think this is really cool.
Yeah.
On Rogues, they put pair it with, and in this beer's case, bruschetta, Dungeness crab, and apple pie. Who
It just
doesn't,
makes you want to try it that much more. Like when you think of those things.
who doesn't love an IPA and apple pie?
And crab legs.
All right, we're gonna get on to this Rogue.
That's awesome. Man, every time I don't know if it's like one hop that they use consistently, but it just always reminds me of standing inside Rogue every time I smell any of their stuff. It's awesome. It might just be like a splash of dead guy, who knows, like in everything.
So this one actually is the first of these three that I think the malt profile, I think the grain profile comes out first. Like I smell it. It's definitely pleasant, and it comes through in the flavor too.
I wonder if that's what I associate with the smell of the building, like when you're eating there, is maybe just malt smell, and maybe that's what.
Just smelling the grains.
Yeah.
I would say it's the least, like if you're looking on the scale of hoppiness and just hop profile, it's probably, like it's still bitter like the others. It has that bitter backbone to it.
Yeah.
It's like they got the bitterness from the hops, but not so much in the aroma like these other two.
Yeah, I wonder, I've tried to understand IBUs before, and I guess that's a good topic for IPAs. It's, this one's 65. But yeah, because I'll always look at IBUs, and sometimes I'll be surprised by like its IBUs and how it actually tastes. And if I was to taste this, I would probably assume a lower IBU. 65 is not very high either, but.
Oh, here we go. 66.
66.
So it's actually.
Yeah. This is like my favorite beer. So
yeah.
I'm really amazed though, because like I said before, I don't usually try things side by side. I might have two different kinds. But yeah, being the same style, they're incredibly different, especially the Rogue one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That one definitely stands out. Not in a bad way. It's still a really solid beer. So we went for West Coast IPA. We went for that style. If you had to rank them, where would you put them?
I think that I would do the Stay West is my favorite. I think it sort of comes down to like the color sort of reflects that taste, you know, like tropical, and it is lighter. My second favorite would be the Deschutes, and it's probably just because of the malt front on the. It's probably just because my expectations were already for hops. If I had been, you know, not expecting that, it might be different. But with as much as I drink IPAs, I like the hoppy flavor. So Breakside, Deschutes, and then Rogues.
Yeah. So my ranking, not to completely copycat Gavin again, but I'd have to go with Stay West IPA. This is my number one. It's probably one of my favorite beers of all time. It's a really solid West Coast IPA. Heavy on the tropical fruit notes, very drinkable. So it doesn't matter what time of year you're drinking it or even what you're drinking it with. It's good, it's enjoyable. I love that one. Close number two would be Inversion IPA with Deschutes. Their fresh squeezed IPA's gotten a lot of attention, and rightfully so. But don't forget about the Inversion IPA. It's a solid beer. It's really good. High up there on the tropical fruit. A little bit of pine, kind of some of those dank notes, but it's really solid. And in no way, shape, or form disrespect to Rogue, this is a really good IPA. I think just with these three, what we're looking for is more of a tropical fruit, hoppy aroma and flavor note. This one really shines through with the malt, but it's got that bitter hoppy backbone to it as well to keep it drinkable. I bought 6 packs of this as well. They're all really good, but if I had to choose between this style, these three, that'd be the order that I'd chosen in. But they're all three really well made.
Yeah, it's funny that for both of us that one ended up number 3, because last time I had it, Garrett took me out on a sailboat and I had some and I got seasick, and then I still had some more. So it's that good. I really do like it. But yeah. I think I don't notice that malt until we put it side by side like this, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy to taste that difference.
And I think that's part of the benefit of doing these side by side. I'd say horizontal taste tests with beers is looking for similar ABV. So all of these, this is 6.8, 7%, and 6.9. So all within 0.2% of each other. You can really get an idea of the flavor, the profile of the beer, and decide what is it that you like, what is it that you don't like, what is it that you want to go for if you're in a pinch. And you have to take something off the shelf, but they're all three really good. All three really reputable breweries here in the state of Oregon. And all three would be beers that just by brand alone, I wouldn't hesitate buying it. If they came out with a new beer that I hadn't tried before, buying a 6-pack.
Yeah, these guys are all heavy hitters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Definitely.
Well, in our next episode, let us know what kind of beers you might want to see us try. You know, brutes, pilsners. Well, we did pilsners.
We did pilsners.
We could do Kolsch. All kinds of stuff.
Any type of style.
Yeah.
You just let us know. We'll get it.
Yep. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night.
Thank you.